Okay. So someone is okay, guys are really not comfortable with the profit before interest and tax. I can just repeat it. So what happens is let me explain it like this. You're saying you have a gross profit, okay, and other expenses, assuming you didn't have other expenses, but you have finance costs. I think only other expenses. Okay. Assuming we didn't have other expenses, you have finance costs, and now we're getting profit. Let me include the tax now. You have tax, okay, then you're getting gross profit after tax. Okay, so we're saying the only way you can get back this side of gross profit without tax being involved is when you get the profit after tax, okay, and you add finance costs. Let me first get profit before tax. Profit before tax. Okay. The only way I can get it is if I get the gross profit if I get the profit after tax, sorry, then add back the tax. Does that make sense? The only way I can get a figure, this one here, without tax being deducted from it, is if I got profit before. Let me first mute this guy. Shakira can mute. Okay. So I was still saying that the only way I can get profit before tax is if I get this profit here after tax and add back the tax. So these are expenses. I want to get the figure that will store it. Maybe I should use values because I think this will disturb us. Allow me use values. Okay. Assuming you had 5,000. Okay. And on it, we deduct operating expenses of 4,000. Okay, that's too much. Let's say 2,000. Okay. And then we deduct finance costs. Okay, these are operating costs. Operating costs. Then from it, we deduct maybe finance cost of 1,000. Okay, this is now interest or finance cost. Then I will get what? That will be how much? That will be 2,000. I'll get 2,000, but this is now profit before tax. Okay. If I want to continue, I will deduct tax. Assuming it's 500. Okay, in tax. Then it will give me profit after tax of how much? 1,500. Profit after tax. Okay, so if I want to get, this is my gross profit. Gross profit. If I want to get profit, okay, before finance cost, before, you understand, before interest, what I will do is I will just get my profit before tax, the 2,000 profit before tax, the 2,000, which is profit before tax. Okay, then I add to it the 1,000, which is the interest. Okay, the figure I will get will be 3,000. Okay, which is profit before interest and tax, isn't it? Okay, because if I want to get profit before interest and tax, I'll just close my eyes on this one. I just close my eyes. I have not seen. Yeah, for me to get profit before interest, okay, this interest expense, I'll just get my 5,000 gross profit, deduct 2,000, I'll get 3,000. That will be profit before interest and tax, isn't it? Let me put it here. Profit, this is 3,000. I hope I'm not confusing you guys the more. Profit before interest and tax. Then on that figure is where we deduct. Okay, this is it goes now. So we deduct finance costs to come up with profit before tax. Then we deduct tax to come up with profit after tax. So meaning that if I'm given profit before tax and I want to get profit before interest and tax, I'll just have to come and add the 1,000 to the 2,000. I'll get the 3,000. Okay, now this is when it is a profit and not a loss. Okay, the challenge is here that this is a loss. Now, when it's a loss, the way you interact with it is different. Okay, now for the loss, okay, I was saying you have gross profit of say 5,000. Allow me to stick to this. This is gross profit. Okay, then you incur probably now this time you incurred a lot of operating expenses. They consume so much of it, so much of the profit. Okay, then you have profit. Let me make it okay. Let's go on. Okay, operating expenses. So they will give me how much? They give me 500. Okay, in profit before interest and tax. So when I deduct the interest that I incurred, assuming it's 1,000 still, okay, I'll end up having a loss of what? Of 500. Loss of 500. Okay, which will give you profit before tax. So how can I use this figure to get back to this figure, 1,000? Did you just, yeah, I don't think I've gone so far. Okay. So I was saying, how do I get back to the 500? What I will do is you're saying you get profit before tax of 500. Unfortunately, it's loss 500. Okay. Then to it, you would add what? You would add the 1,000. Finance cost. And so we end up having what? That's how you end up having a positive 500 as profit before interest and tax. Okay. So now we're saying, in this case, there were one was positive, was negative. Now let's go to the scenario where we are or where we are at. Okay, where you have a gross profit and the interest is still small. It can't really help you to get back. Can't really get back to positive. Eh?
Now the answer there. The answer there are three.
Is someone having the rights of muting? Because I'm trying to mute people. I'm failing. So how would it be different if now this whole thing, okay, in case this was maybe 6,500, 6,500, that's my gross operating expenses. There are many, and therefore I'm operating in a loss already. The loss will be 1,500. Okay, then finance cost of that 1,000, so I'll have an extra expense of what? 500. Okay, now the only way the profit before tax of 2,500, yeah, can get back to 1,500, yeah, is when this, okay, if I put it just here, 1,500 is still fine, yeah, 1,000 is still fine, you still get 1,500. Okay, but also if I just say the loss itself 2,500, I want to reduce it by 1,000, still the same answer. So Beatrice, okay, to answer your question, you would add if the brackets were outside. Okay, you're saying that this is negative, then you, okay, but for my case, I'd put the negative, everything is in the negative, is in the brackets. So ideally, it's different from what you've just done here. But if you do this, you're still fine. Eh? This. Okay, so guys, you have to be careful as you add and subtract your things. Eh? Okay, but I think the shortest or the easiest part is if you're saying this is a loss, what you do is you put it in your brackets, I mean in your calculator. You say minus 2,500, then you add the 600 plus 600. The figure you get will still be 1,900. Okay, I hope I've answered you guys. Unless, okay, thanks. Halima, were you asking the same thing? Kindly confirm that you understood that. Now, that is how we get profit before interest and tax. And as a matter of fact, most of the questions, they always try to hide, they always want you to do something to get this ratio. They don't want it to be just so obvious, like it was for gross profit margin. Okay, they'll hide something like this, profit before interest and tax, they hide it. You have to find it. Okay, now having said that, allow me to continue. Okay, so shall bring this. This will give you the loss of that divided by the revenues. Revenues were 29,500 times 100%. Okay, someone should help us get the figure there. That is for 2020. Then 2019, it will be for this one. It is so obvious that, okay, let me put it here. For that one, we're saying profit before tax is 5,000. Okay. Then we add, okay, we are adding the interest so that we get profit before interest and tax. So this will be 5,500. I think you get the difference. That this was a positive or a profit, so adding 500 to increase it. Now for the loss, because this was a loss, the loss cannot go higher. It can only reduce if you're removing expenses. So that's how the loss is reducing in this case. Okay, that's if you're observing, that's what's happening. So we shall get therefore 5,500 divided by 36,000. So let me get this figure. Then you comment. Which question are we doing? It's the class question, the question in class. The one that you have in class. Please, someone should help me get the figures. Kindly share. I think this is a negative, some things is positive. Okay. As someone shares the figures, I will still emphasize that for the ratios, you must know the ratio itself. Okay, once you know the ratio itself, then it is easier for you to deal with it and even comment accordingly. Okay, and now we are commenting on the profitability of the entities of the business. So usually profitability, it has specific ratios. So it's either you know still or you don't. Okay, so usually they really fall on the profit or loss statement. Profitability ratios, they usually fall on the profit or loss statement. Okay, I should compute this myself, so you guys are not giving me figures. Okay, so okay, try to make yourself a bit active or something like that. You have 6%, 6.4%. Okay, it's a negative. Then for this one, it is 15.8%. Okay. Now, those are the figures I've got. In 2019, it was that big. In 2020, it was a negative. Okay. So clearly, you can see that it's a decline. So always, like under analysis, always set the obvious. Okay, there may be a mark for us. So you will say that the operating profit margin is reducing or decreasing from 15.28% to negative 6.4%. Okay, from 2019 to 2020. Okay. So if it was, if you're comparing with an industry, how would you think you'd state it? Okay, someone should share in the chat. How do you think you'd state if you're comparing with an industry? Okay, so as you share with me that answer, you can continue. Now here, you have stated the obvious. You're saying from the ratios you have computed that the thing is reducing. So what can justify reduction? Now, usually for operating profit, as you can hear the word operating, usually the justification is on the operating expenses or operating incomes, not revenue, not cost of sales, but items that fall in between. Okay. Then for gross profit, based on revenue and cost of sales. All right. So when you're commenting, therefore, on operating margin, you look out for, if it is reducing, you look out for expenses that are reducing, because that's that are increasing. Because the only way the profit can reduce is when the profits, I mean the expenses, increase. It can't be the other way around. There's no way your gross profit or your profit at the end here, there's no way it can increase if your operating expenses are increasing, sorry, are reducing. Because at the end of the day, okay, what's the formula for operating? The formula, I've already shared it. It is profit before interest and tax divided by sales. I would imagine wherever there's margin, you have revenues below. Okay. So let me continue. What was I saying? I was saying the only way your profit can, this figure here, either the profit down or the 1 year profit before interest and tax, the only way it can reduce is if these costs here in between are increasing. If they're increasing, automatically the effect is felt on the profit down. The profit will reduce and reduce and reduce. Okay, so we comment based on this. You see the changes. So, and the only justification is an expense that is increasing. The one that is reducing can only improve the profit. Okay, I already used these many figures to explain to you, so I won't repeat myself. Okay, so allow me therefore comment. Now, how do you comment? You say that this can only happen, or this could be. Okay, you don't commit yourself, like I already said. So this may be due to increase in operating expenses. Okay. By saying this, it's not enough. Okay, so you give an example, such as what? Such as, now you will see that investment income, these are incomes. For incomes, whenever they increase, you're doing well. Okay, they will increase the profit at the bottom here. Okay, because the effect is that they increase the figure. But if you're seeing your incomes are reducing, then still that is justifiable, yeah, in regarding the profit, why it is reducing also. Okay, but back to the expenses. Now, expenses, as you will see, most of them are actually increasing. So if you have expenses increasing, there's no way this figure can do what? Can increase. That's reduce, because you're deducting it, reducing. So having said that, so we say that such as admin, okay, and distribution. I can just say one at a time. Such as admin from 3,900 to 4,000, and distribution from 800 to 1,000. Okay, so still for simplicity, if you have any other expense, for example, reducing, but your gross profit margin was reducing, don't say it here, don't bring it. Otherwise, if you bring it, you are not justifying it, and to be wrong. That analysis is totally wrong. There's no way an expense can increase, so it can reduce, and your profit is increasing. Okay. All right. Of course, there are other reasons why they would increase with other items, but this one specifically doesn't. Okay. You'll catch up. No worries. You'll catch up. Okay. So what was I saying? So you look out when you're commenting. You comment on the obvious. Don't look for hard things. Don't look for hard things. Comment on the obvious. Okay. So someone will say, like I already explained for cost of sales. Okay. Don't comment on it if you're not really sure. Okay, if your English is still okay, I know we all know English, but I'm saying if you're accounting or in any way your analysis is for passing exams, just stick to the simplest things. Okay, and the simplest things are those things that are so obvious. Now here you can't tell me that I'm wrong. Okay, because first of all I've not committed myself, but logically you know that if expenses are increasing, there's no way your profit can improve. If you don't trust your math and yeah, so if you don't trust your math, that's why I'm using these figures, by the way. It's not by accident. Now there's another of commenting on these figures that you don't say it is increasing from 3,900 to 4,900, but you say it is increasing by. Okay, I can try out that on another thing. Let's say for investment. Now for investments, still this is in our favor because whenever investments are reducing, then your profit will reduce. Okay, so you want to say also investment income is reducing. Okay, so this also can do what? Can reduce the profit. So you can say also investment income is reducing. This time you say by. Okay, this one we just used it because someone was talking of the math. Now the math, the hard math, those who like math, you come here and you say 200 minus 50, okay, divide by 200. If you compute, what you will get is 150 divided by 200. Okay, you get 75%. Now here you're saying that an investment income is reducing or reduced by 75%. Okay, those who like math. Okay, but now someone who says this and someone who says that investment income reduced from 200 to 50, you all get the same marks. Okay, as long as you say justify your things. Okay, now we have justified, we have given the reasons why our operating profit margin is reducing. So what's the implication? By the way, I forgot to give the implication on the gross profit margin also. You must give. For those of you just joined us, okay, don't think about it so hard because at the end of the day, we just done 2 ratios. So we're going to do another ratio, so you can just start from there. Okay, so don't beat yourself up. For those of you just joined us. Okay. So I'm going to comment on the implication. Now the implication is that whenever a profit is reducing, then we are saying that the performance is low. So saying therefore, there is you can say poor. I think that's extreme. You want to say that there is a reduction in the performance. Okay, guys, if you may mute, I think there's someone who is now. Okay. Whoever has the rights of unmuting, please mute some people. Okay. So I was saying, we comment on the implication. What's the implication on the profitability margin reducing? So I'm saying you're not performing well, or the profitability is low. Okay, therefore there is low profitability. Okay, of the business. okay, in this year. So that's how we comment. So even gross profit margin is the same thing. So guys, as simple as that. Okay. So let's go and look at another thing. Let's look at commenting on liquidity, for example, the liquidity of an entity. How do you comment on that? So for those who have just joined us, you have missed the profitability, but you can catch up with what? With liquidity. Okay, now for the liquidity, if I may share some ratios on it, I already explained what it is, but I'll still add a few things on it. Analysis. Okay, this is on MoveSep, by the way. Okay, so the other method, the other ratios for profitability include return on capital employed, yeah, which is given by profit before interest and tax over capital employed. So you're going to check them out. Formulas are given. You just apply the formula, really. You don't do anything about it. Return on equity, this is profit after tax over equity, 10%. I like using this one because it is easier. Profit after tax, the last profit figure over equity. Okay. Maybe I should try out profit return on equity, since it includes profit and the balance sheet. Okay, let me try out this one. So we're going to try out return on equity. It's still a profitability ratio to be the last one I'll look at for profitability. Then we look at liquidity one, then okay, chap. So return on equity, we're saying it's profit after tax divided by equity. It is the formula. Okay, so either you know it or you don't. Now that's done. So let's go and apply it to our question. Okay. So for return on equity, you're saying it is profit after tax. So that is profit for the year. So this is 2,100. That's for 2020. Divide by equity. Also, equity is given in the balance sheet. Yeah. So you go to your balance sheet, which is assessment of financial position, and you look for equity. Equity is either assets minus liability, or it is equity itself. Where you look at equity, shares, share premium, blah blah blah. Okay, here it is. So you have 17,600. This is equity. You come to the statement of financial position and look for it. Okay. So this is equity. So you just get the figure. Okay, someone have video on. Remove it. Okay. So this is what I have. Okay. Then it's expressed in terms of percentages. So times 100%. So when you compute that, what you will get is it is 11.9%. Okay, so you do the same for 2019. Okay, this is negative, okay, because there is a loss. This is a loss, okay. Then for 2019, still is profit after tax divided by equity. Okay, still come the same place. Okay, this is our equity here. Equity and liabilities, but under equity you have only these. So you have this as the figure. So you come and put it on your ratio. So whatever you compute, becomes, okay, times 100%. Then you will get you get 15.2%. Okay, so how would you explain this? So how would you comment about it? Okay, so like I already said, you said the obvious. You said the return on equity reduced, okay, or decreased from 15.2% the previous year to negative 11.9% from 2019 to 2020. Okay, that is what happened. Okay, and now what's the justification? What's the reason? So for equity, change in equity, you may want to comment based on their variables. Okay, so for example, you're saying that this one made a profit, a loss. Okay, that in the year 2020 we made a loss of 100, then this one was made a profit of 3,500. That is clear. Of course, there are so many items or so many things that contribute to profit, and whatever you say, we always justify it. Okay, for example, if you say that that my revenues, okay, or my incomes decreased, okay, if I may say that the incomes this may be due to, okay, why did your profits reduce? Because I think I've, okay, why did your profits reduce? So you're saying, why did your ratio reduce? You're saying that the revenues, this could be due to decrease in revenues, okay, from or from in incomes, e.g., or such as revenue. Seeing that the revenue reduced from 36,000. For those who don't like computing and stuff, just state the obvious. Just state there's what we call relative comparison and what we call absolute comparison. Now this is absolute. Just set the figure the way it is. That's using percentages. 9,500. Unfortunately, for percentages, you can't avoid them as far as the ratios are concerned. Ratios must be computed. Okay, and also saw investment income. Investment income reduced still from over 200 to 50. Okay, so if you say this, there's no way somebody will say this is wrong, because it's really true that revenue is what reduced, and whenever revenue is reduced, your profit will reduce, and if your profit reduces, your return on equity must what reduce. Okay, so the other thing is the other justifiable thing is if your equity, this equity values here, if the lower figures are increasing, the resultant will what? Will reduce. Yeah. If the low figures are increasing, the resultant will reduce. If the low figures are reducing, the resultant will increase. Now, in this case, because whereas equity reduced, but the figure has reduced. Now, there's no way you're going to use equity to comment on this one to justify your reason. Okay, unless you've already done some of the practice and you can clearly tell them that you see the rate at which equity reduced was maybe lower than the rate at which the profits increased. Okay, but as you can see, that is a lot of English and comparison. So you don't want to be in that scenario. So go for the obvious, state the obvious, and you're good to go. Okay, to just bit of yeah. Okay, is it not? Are you sure it's not? Because me see. Okay, for my case, it was multiplied. Okay. Return on equity is a percentage, Halima. Okay, but whether percentage or not, I really think it's not really a big deal for percentages, because I've told you that ratios are expressed as percentages and at the same time as fractions. So I don't think they would really mark you off for that. But to be on the safe side, of course, you use the right standards. Okay. So what else can we look at? Now let's go and look at, okay, I didn't comment on the impact. Now, having done that, or having shown, having computed the ratio, what you do is, it's coming up. Okay. You now say, you set the therefore, okay? Say therefore, or the impact. Therefore, is low profitability, or you can say low performance. Low performance. Okay, so that is how we comment on liquidity. So let's look at, sorry, on profitability. Let's look at liquidity ratio. How would you comment about it? Liquidity. Liquidity ratios. I would explain that these ones look at your ability to meet your short-term obligations, or even all your obligations as they fall due. Okay, that's liquidity. And a few examples of those ratios. Okay. The most common one is current ratio and quick ratio, what you call the asset ratio. Okay, so the current ratio says you get current assets, divide them by current liabilities. Okay. So, okay. So I may comment on this as the link closes, so that we shall just join the new link. I think to be the last time we shall join the link. Okay, but for current ratio, you must know the ratio. Okay, from the ratio, then you can comment. So as you can see, I was saying that it is given by current assets over current liabilities. Okay, and assigned to 1, meaning that the figure you get here is compared to 1. But in short, we're saying that do your assets, or are your assets many enough or valuable enough to cover all your liabilities? Okay, strictly current assets, current liabilities. Okay, so whenever the figure up here is bigger than what is down, then we say you're doing well. Okay, so guys, the link is going to close in a few. Kindly join again in the same link as soon as this closes. Okay.